My 2023 Ford Maverick Hybrid XL is finally here. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the changes and modifications I've done to the truck and give you an update on the 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid XL that's been on the channel for some time. All right, let's get to it. So let's start with a quick update on this truck. If you're familiar with the channel, you know I've done a handful of modifications and videos on this Hybrid XL. This is a 22 model year, and if you want to see my full year review, I will put it right here on the screen. Now, as I'm recording this truck has a touch over 21,000 miles and has only been back to the Ford dealership for one mandatory recall for a battery cable going to the hybrid battery pack. Other than that, it's been very solid, trouble-free, nothing really new to report. It still has a little bit of a dash rattle, which I talked about in the beginning, and the brakes are a little catchy and clunky at times, but not so much where we felt like it needs to go back to a dealership. Now, I no longer own this truck. I sold it to a good friend of mine, so it's sort of staying in the family. And one of the reasons I got rid of it is, well, my 23 finally showed up. So let's talk about that truck and what's new. Now, the only big changes between the 22 model year and the 23 model year XL is the fact that you can now get this new Atlas metallic blue, which I absolutely love this color, and cruise control comes standard, which should have came on the 22 if we're being honest. This truck, as you see it out the door, was just under $27K with taxes, tags, destination fee, and all that stuff. For the 24 model year, I believe they're going up a bit, and even though it did take a solid year for this thing to go, it did qualify for price protection. All right, now let's talk a little bit more about some of the modifications that I've made. Now, since this is an XL, it came with the factory steel wheels and highway radials. I don't particularly love the steel wheel, so I wanted to do something to make the truck more personalized to me. I like modification, but I didn't want to really harm the fuel economy of the hybrid. So I ended up finding these Vision wheels. I got them from Discount Tire Direct, and it is a 17x7, so same factory dimensions, but it's aluminum. It weighs 24 pounds. It's got 38 millimeters of offset and 5.5 inches of back spacing. So it's very similar in terms of specs to the factory wheel, so it doesn't stick out very far, and it's a pretty clean look. It's a matte black finish. It's kind of a real simple looking wheel to me. I didn't want something terribly busy, and I sort of like the black and blue look. Now, in terms of tires, I wanted to go with the same tire that I went on the last truck, and that is the Nomad Grappler. The reason being, it's one of the only all-terrain tires that's actually designed for these lightweight trucks. Most other all-terrains you're going to find are LT tires, which are light truck, and they're going to be a full 10 pounds heavier on average than this tire. These tires are incredibly durable and very good at not lodging a lot of gravel, which is super important. These trucks, or at least what I use it for, is not only daily driving, but they're great dirt bike haulers. And a lot of the places that I ride have a lot of gravel. And anytime you're intercepting a lot of gravel, you run the risk of what's called a hammer puncture. And that's where gravel or any type of shale rock will get caught in between the tread. And as you're going down a longer gravel road, it'll get a hammer puncture, which means it's getting hammered into the top cap of the tread. And a lot of these like highway radials, they're not designed to go off-road. They don't really have a durable top cap. And I have found with these tires, they are incredibly resilient for that. So for me, it was worth upping to an all-terrain tire. I do like that it looks a little bit more aggressive, but it hasn't really affected my fuel economy too much. Hand calculated to date, the average actual fuel economy has been right at 40, which is really good. The only time I ever see the fuel economy dip down on this truck, and I experienced with the last one, was on the highway. If you're going over 70 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour for consistent time, that's when it really drops into the 30s. Now, the best way to make your truck more practical and get more use out of it, at least for my needs, is to put a bed cover on the back. I've got two tiny humans, and so anytime you have a full family of four in here, you're really going to run out of room inside of the cab. It's just kind of a small cab. cab. I went back with the same exact bed cover that I had on the last truck, which is this Rough Country tri-fold. It's a soft cover. It's less than 300 bucks. I really like that it's really fast and easy to take on and off, so I went back with that. The only difference between this truck and last in terms of other mods that I did is while I ordered this from Rough Country, I went ahead and got a Rough Country bed mat because I never did a spray-in liner for the last truck. The bed got pretty beat up fairly quickly. And I got one of these tailgate assist struts that bolts on using really all factory mounting points. It is a very simple, easy, and really worthwhile way to the tailgate just doesn't come slamming down. It's kind of cheesy how terrible the tailgate seems when it doesn't have this. The Rough Country version of this is like $29. The factory Ford one was 50 bucks, so this seemed like a no-brainer to me. One thing that is worth noting that is if you do the shock on the driver's side, you are going to lose what is effectively a sort of a lumbar tie down point back here and a bottle opener. I couldn't care less about the bottle opener part, but if you are hauling longer gear and you need the ability to strap it down, that's something to consider. Maybe this shock upgrade isn't for you. In terms of interior, they haven't really changed a lot. I did put a set of smart liners in here just like I did with the last truck. They seem to be very durable. They're very inexpensive on Amazon, so I would absolutely recommend them. Nothing really has changed between the truck from last year to this year interior wise. Everything, touch points, all that stuff looks exactly the same. Just like the 22, the 23 layout is basically the same. The only thing that I've changed up front is it does have the front windows tinted. It's a legal tint in North Carolina. I think that's like a 36%. I find that that helps a little bit keep some of the sun off of the shifter, which gets very hot. Other than that, not a lot of big changes. I will say in terms of the dash, you do still get a little bit of dash rattle. The speakers still are not my favorite. I'll get some more miles on this thing and do a long-term review once I really get myself planted in this thing. But for the most part, very similar to the last truck. The brakes feel a little bit better. It doesn't feel as grabby as the 22 model year. That's the only thing that I've really noticed that's different. The powertrain is the same in terms of overall power output. Haven't really noticed it feel better or worse one way or the other. It's still very smooth in how the hybrid shifts between battery and engine power. So all of that's been great. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments. If you want to see some of the stuff I'm doing behind the scenes, be sure to check me out on Instagram at Ollie Mansour Editor. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Take care. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider subscribing to the Driving Line channel. Our goal is to excite, entertain, and educate you on all things automotive. So if you want to come be part of our journey, please hit that subscribe button, and we hope to see you on the next video. Take care.